I love pie. I've loved it all my life, so I almost feel disloyal saying this, but my current favorite dessert is pumpkin tiramisu. It is to die for. I put a can of plain pumpkin puree into a bowl, and I'm adding a package of softened mascarpone cheese, and I'm just gonna combine this. It's really important that the mascarpone is room temperature soft because otherwise it's difficult to mix in with the pumpkin. Now I've got some cream that I've been starting to whip, and I'm gonna sweeten it up with ½ a cup of brown sugar and some ground cinnamon and 3 teaspoons of vanilla. And then I'll whip this until it's just about stiff, but not quite. I'll tell you why I love a Thanksgiving version of tiramisu. It's one of those desserts that you can make the day before Thanksgiving. Okay, that is looking good. So I'll fold in the pumpkin mascarpone mixture. One mistake some people make when making pumpkin desserts with canned pumpkin is they accidentally use pumpkin pie filling. If you use the pumpkin pie filling, sometimes you wind up with a dessert that's too sweet. I know that people make that mistake because I was once one of those people. Now the next thing I'm going to fold into this is a luscious custard. I made it earlier and it's been chilling in the fridge. So while I mix it in, let me tell you how to whip this up. I added a 1/4 a cup of sugar to 5 egg yolks, whisked them, put the bowl over a pan of simmering water, then gradually whisked in ½ a cup of bourbon, cooked it for about 5 minutes, took it off the heat, then covered and chilled it. This custard smells so good because of that bourbon. Okay, this is where you really want to be gentle with your folding. You never want to just stir it and beat it up. Ooh, I definitely want to lick this spatula. But first, I'm going to cover the bowl with plastic wrap and get this in the fridge. All right. See you in an hour. I have all the elements ready, so I'm gonna assemble the tiramisu. I'm using store-bought ladyfingers, which I think is the best kind of ladyfinger to use for tiramisu. Now, if you don't have access to store-bought ladyfingers, you can just make a simple white cake or a sponge cake. I've done that before too, and it works great. I think just 3 more will fit on this bottom layer. So the first thing you wanna do with the ladyfingers is soak them in a really yummy espresso syrup. This one has some nice spices, so while I spoon this over the top, let me tell you how to make this. I added 2 teaspoons of instant espresso to 1½ cups of boiling water and stirred it until it dissolved. Then I added ½ a cup of brown sugar, a teaspoon of cinnamon, ½ a teaspoon of ground nutmeg, and stirred the syrup until the sugar had dissolved. 1 more spoonful. So the next thing I'll do is add 1/3 of the pumpkin mixture. Spread this evenly over the ladyfingers. You want to be gentle so you don't disrupt the layer below. So for the next layer, I'm going to grate on some semi-sweet chocolate. You can do dark chocolate, bittersweet, whatever you happen to have in your pantry. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to add are ground ginger snap cookies. Just a nice, even layer. Can you imagine the flavor from these? Now I'm going to repeat the layers 2 more times. There it is, Carson. Pumpkin tiramisu. Definitely my favorite Thanksgiving dessert.